And we are live.
Yay.
Welcome. Yay. We made it. It was kind of a challenge, but we're here. Uh, and I apologize directly to you that I did not get the event created. I did not get your graphic done until 4:30 this morning.
That's fine. Life
I
always
went to
lives.
bed last night and I was like, oh shit.
Right. I do that all the time, trust me.
I'm like, you know what? It's all in divine order.
It's gonna line up the way it's supposed to.
It does. It all works out, even with the schedule weird things. But welcome,
Thank
welcome.
you. Thank you.
This is Breaking the Silence conversations on addiction, grief, and healing. And I have just met PJ. In fact, right now is the first time we've met face to face. So I am super excited. Um, I'm so excited to hear your story. I read your application and I looked at your website, but I am so excited to hear your story. So I will just let you take it away.
Okay. Basically, as I've done these so many times, it's like, it's like riding a bike now. By now, I've shared this story. It started with my parents. Well, my dad and my grandmother. My dad was a preacher of the church that my grandmother was a member of, and they kind of started having an affair. Um, my dad was an older gentleman. He was born 1913. That can give you an idea of how old he is. And my mom at the time was about 8 years old. And by the time my dad got to her, she had been molested by her brother. She'd been molested by a few members, deacons of the church. And then she started to, my dad kind of took an interest in her, and he started molesting my mom when she was 8. My grandmother basically enforced it because again they were having an affair, and so my mom was being molested from my dad by my dad from the age of 8 all the way until a little bit after I was born, because she got pregnant by him after I was born, but she couldn't have any more kids by him. She did have an abortion after, but that was her sixth pregnancy. She got pregnant with him when she was by him when she was 11, and again at 13. She gave birth to those children, and they told her that the babies died, and they took the babies. She doesn't believe that they died. She believed that they took her children, two boys. And then she had me, my older sister, in 1977. She had me in 79, and that was pretty much the start of my life. At 2 days old, my auntie put something in my bottle to make me sick, and it almost ended up killing me. So I died 3 times before I was one, spending the first 10 months of my life in the hospital. I lost all my weight, got down to maybe not even a pound. Right before I was going to die, the universe is like, no. I just kind of made a miraculous recovery. No one really can explain what happened. Um, but I still have the scar on my neck from when they had to cut my neck open and stick a tube in my neck for like 10 months of my life, because I was literally in the hospital dying. I pooped out most of my intestines. It was bad. They thought I was going to die. So that's kind of how my life started. I started as a fighter. Throughout my life, I was treated differently, but I wasn't flat out abused because, like, I had my rib broken by my cousin when I was 5. I've gotten hit in the head with 2x4s. We were kind of told just to suck it up, you're fine. It wasn't until after my dad died, which I didn't even find out he was my dad until I was 9. We went to his church. My mom dropped us off at his house, like custody agreements that we didn't realize what was going on. Me and my older sister, we're going to Texas, to Mississippi, visiting his family. We're like, what's going on? Why are we always with the pastor? Why are we always with this man? So it wasn't until we were not, I was 9, my sister was 10, we found out he was actually our biological father. And
Wow.
we were too young to actually understand the circumstances around our birth. So she didn't go into telling us she was molested. She did, but she didn't go into detail. She said, he did bad things to me when I was young, and that's why I hid this from you. She kind of tried to explain what was going on. And up until he died, because he died when I was 11, he was in his 70s, I believe. She wasn't a horrible mom. She didn't have a drinking problem. She maybe drank a little bit of beer here and there. She smoked a lot of reefer. That was her thing. She was calm. She smoked a lot of pot, did her thing. She didn't do it with us in the room. She put us to
Right.
bed. We'll smell that smell coming in our rooms and things. So but after he died, and she got her CDL, so she couldn't smoke anymore because they do random drug tests. She started drinking really bad, and he died when I was 11, and that's when she started to physically abuse me. So she started beating me. Some, on a nightly basis, I'm coming home from school because I'm a nerd. I'm in the band. On honor roll. I'm a student that's getting. In the sixth grade. I won an honorary author's award for writing a little mini novel story in the sixth grade. So like I was a smart kid. I played by the
Right.
time I was in the sixth grade. I think I played three instruments by the time I was in the sixth grade. So I was a nerd. I love that. I love that. I love being a nerd. That's my thing. um, so she just started beating on me. I was a curious child. I asked a lot of questions. I'm a Gemini. I love knowledge. I love learning. I love to understand how things work. So it wasn't until after he died I was punished. The first time I was beaten was for I that was the first time I attempted suicide. I tried to hang myself when he died because again I didn't know he was my dad, but he spoiled me rotten. I'm his baby. He treated me like the youngest child. So he spoiled me when he died. I didn't know how to
Right.
process that, and I was basically not allowed to grieve. My mom made me feel like I was wrong to mourn him because of what he'd done to her. So I hung myself, and instead of her trying to help me, she beat the dog mess out of me. And that's when it started. The violent beatings, the punches in the face, the choking of the throats, the sitting. Because she was over 400 pounds at this time. And
Wow.
she's sitting on me, punching me in my face, choking me. I'm going to school with claw marks on my neck. And this went on until I was about 14, and that's when I started running away from home. I'm like, I can't do this anymore. I'm still trying to stay in school. I'm still trying to be in. I'm still in the band. I'm still in orchestra. I'm in high school at this point. I'm in ROTC. But that's also when I started to get sexually. I was starting to get sexually assaulted. My sister's boyfriend's oldest brother. He was 21. I was 14. He raped me. That's how I lost my virginity. I tried to tell my mom. She beat me and called me a whore. Basically shamed me for being raped. So I knew I couldn't come to her. I ran away from home. Next night after I was raped and lost my virginity, I got gang raped by 5 homeless men in the park at the bathroom because that's where I had to sleep that night. So I went home, but I never told my mom because I'm like, if she's gonna beat me for that, I don't know what she's gonna do if she knows there were 5 of them. Like I'm just so I just kind of kept
Right.
it to myself. So for years I just tried to stay safe, in and out of the home, being beat by my mom, being beat by the streets, until I ended up meeting my ex-husband. I was 16, he was 23. So the cycle starts again. The pedophile and the child. So he kind of trapped me. He locked me away. He was like, "You belong to me. I don't care. You're mine." Um, he raped me. The first time we ever had sex, he locked me. He had his friend lock us in the room from the outside, locked the windows, and was like, "You're not getting out of here until you do what I need." And I needed hours. I didn't just kind of. I fight back. I will fight back. But I was small. I was not a big girl, and he basically was like, "We could do this all night. No one's coming in here for you." So I ended up just saying, "Okay." And then once he did that, he said, "Now that means you belong to me." He tried to pit me out, but I wouldn't do that. He forced me to sell drugs for him. And my mom, she thought he made me lie to say he was 17 because he did not look his age. He looks really young. So she made me lie to him and tell my mom. He made me lie to her and tell her he was 17. But at some point, she realized he was grown and she never did anything. And at 17, I got pregnant with my first child. And I was like, oh, I don't want to have any kids by this. But I didn't want kids. The world was horrible. I had been raped, sodomized, tortured, beaten. I did not want to bring any kids into this world. So
Right.
when I found out I was pregnant, I'm like, oh my God. But I'm pro-choice. So if you want to have an abortion, I will never judge you. But my personal choice is too. If I have a child, if I'm pregnant, I'm going to keep it because that's my choice. I kept the baby, and my pregnancy was horrible. He was beating on me, cheating on me, torturing me. I was getting into a place. He got me. He stole my rent money, so I got evicted. He stole my money that I had for food. So I basically starved my first pregnancy. I was survived on 100-pound sack of potatoes. It
Wow.
was really bad. Yeah, it was really bad, and I I got through it. I had my son. We ended up having 3 more children. But through those times, those pregnancies were horrible. He gave me STIs while I was pregnant. My second son was born with one in his eye. He had blood. He was blood crying, bleeding tears because he was born with it in his eyes because because his the biological dad, they don't really know him, so they call him donor. Um, he gave me an STI when I went into labor. I went into labor because he forced himself on me, and at that moment, he gave me an STI.
Wow.
I'm like, oh my goodness. and it's humiliating. I'm like, I was only with him. I never cheated. I was forced to marry him. So I married him when I was my younger son was 6 months old. So when I'm married, I don't cheat. So I'm getting all these STIs, but I'm only with you. So it was just bad. It was a really bad time in my life. So at one point, I started to try to run away from him. I tried to leave him because he tried to kill me multiple times. He tried to poison. I caught him trying to poison me and my children's food. Um, he dumped boiling water over my head, like fresh off the pot, boiling water over my head. He slit my throat. He's shot at me. So I'm like, I have to get
Right?
away from this man before he kills me or my children. So I try to leave. My mom tells him where I am. I said, okay. I can't tell her where I am. So I leave the state. So I've lived in Nevada. I've lived in Arizona. I've lived all up and down the West Coast because I'm trying to leave him. And he keeps finding me. He doesn't work. So I'm the one that has to, he won't let me work. So I had to depend on government assistance. But because he's a felon, he can't live in my home or I will not be eligible
Right.
for. So he's risking everything that I have to provide for my children. Okay, if you're not going to allow me to get government assistance, at least watch the kids while I get a job. No, because every time I get a job, he shows up at my job, I get fired because we're fighting at my job. So it's like, you're going to have to do something. I have to feed these kids. So I just kept trying to run. That's all I knew to do. Run, 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 run. Finally, I moved to Alaska. He comes, but at this point, because I moved to Alaska because he ran me over with a car. He hit me with two cars. He got mad because I smoked the last cigarette that I bought. I bought. And I was like, I'll just go buy another pack. So he hits me with the car, gets in the car, another car that I bought. I bought him a car so he would leave me alone. Bought my own car. He hits me with both cars. The neighbor calls the police. He finally goes to jail, but they only sentenced him to 2 weeks. 2 weeks. By now, I have a job. I'm doing childcare, and the state is paying me for childcare to be a childcare provider. So I get everything that I have. I left a house full of everything. I just made sure I have my kids' social security cards, my social security card, any type of identifying information, birth certificate, shot records, whatever I needed. And I just met up with a friend who I knew since middle school. She lived in Alaska. I jumped on a plane, moved to Alaska. Didn't even care. Nothing. And I mean, I had nothing. I did not care. I abandoned my furniture, cars, no ball, everything, and I left. But she met him and thought he was a really nice guy. He is one of those covert narcissists. You meet him, you'll think he's one of the nicest guys in the
Oh,
world. I
they
swear you
can
would.
be
I swear
so
you would.
charming.
Yes, yes. So she's like, I don't understand what the big deal is. He's such a nice guy. So she paid for him to move to Alaska, bought him a ticket, gave him my address. So I'm done. I'm done. I can't do this anymore. You're going to go to jail. So he tried to kill us again. He tried to drive us off the road because I had to buy him a car because I had a car. So I bought myself another car and I gave him the car that I had. And he tried to run us off the road in this little Volvo. I'm in this giant not Bronco, one of those old GMC trucks. It was one of those old SUVs. It was like made in the late 80s, early 90s, so it was big body. And he has this little tiny Volvo. He tries to run me off the road in the snow. So I drive past the police station because I'm trying to get pulled over so that I can let them know I'm speeding. I'm like, I'm driving recklessly. I'm doing everything I can so the police can pull me over so that I can get him. Like, he's trying to kill me. My son's on the phone with 911. So long story short, he goes to jail. I found out he's not even supposed to be out of the state of California. He's on parole. So I set him up with his parole officer. I'm like, hey, because they were like, well, his warrant is expired. You have to let him come home. But we can get him. We're going to reissue another warrant. We need to know when we can come and get him. I gave them my address, let them know when I was going to be at work, when my kids were going to be at school, and I left the door unlocked. And they arrested him and they took him back to California. I was done. At this point, I've been with him for 12 years. I was tired. And he started to beat on my older son. My son at this time was like 10, 11. You're beating on my child now. And that's really, no. If I stay with a person who's beating on me, that's one thing, but you will never hurt my children. So I basically set him up to go back to jail. And that's when I finally experienced freedom. But I didn't have the circle of friends that I needed. They were like, well, let's go party now. Let's go out and get drunk now. Let's go have reckless sex now. You don't have to worry about anything. That we don't have to worry about therapy. Your kids are going to be fine. And I was a good mother. I never beat my kids. I spoiled them right. They had a very good life, especially after he left. My daughter was 4 or 5. She doesn't even really remember him much, living in the home. So I just started pouring all my love into my children. But I'm not living right for myself. I'm still doing things that are putting me in danger. So after a few years of that, and I get a divorce and everything's fine. I'm like, okay, this isn't right. I decided I want to go back to school to get my back. Well, I had to sneak and get my GED because he wouldn't let me graduate high
Oh,
school.
wow.
Couldn't go back to school. So, and I was like points, literally half a point from graduating high school. Because again, I am an honor roll student. I am really, really smart, So it's like I should have a high school diploma, but I'll settle for a GED. I do not care. I just want something. So I used that GED. I enrolled in college online because this is when I learned about college online. I'm like, oh, I could finally go back to college because I wanted to go to college, but he got me pregnant at
Right.
17. And it was hard back then. There was no online college, and I would have to afford a nice school, find babysitter. It was just too much. But now I can go online. So yeah, I can go to work in the daytime. I can come home, do my school online. I start getting my life together. 6 years after my divorce, 6 years and a month, my oldest son is shot and killed.
Wow.
He was 19 years old. And I'm like, oh my God, I won't stop. Like, because even through the 6 years, I'm still fighting with my ex-husband. He's showing up because my mom lied and told me she was dying. So I moved back to California to help her. And she's like, well, we're all going to die one day. Surprise. Oh, wow. So now I'm stuck here and I'm fighting with him. He tried to burn my house down. He's stalking me, kidnapping my daughter from school. Like, because I have primary custody of my
Right.
children. Kidnapping my daughter from school is like, just stop. So you're going to take me back for years. To this day, he'll say, I want my wife back. We have been divorced 10, 11 years, maybe longer. And he'll still say, I want my wife back. I'm not your wife. I'm someone else's wife now,
Wow.
But still, I want my wife back. So, but when my son dies, the year my son dies was the worst year of my life. I was alone. I had absolutely no support. Absolutely no support. I had to work 18 hours a day. I was on vacation when he died. So when he died, I did not go back to Alaska. I stayed where I was. I had to get a job. I had to find a place. I was with a friend, the same friend that paid for his ticket to move to Alaska. She moved to St. Louis and introduced me to my now husband, who was her boyfriend's brother. I'm staying with them while I'm like, I can't go back there. She kicks me out. So now I'm homeless in a place with nobody. And I have 2 children now that are younger than my son that passed away. He was my oldest. And I'm trying to make it. Like my current husband, his family hates me. They're trying to convince him to leave me. They're so involved in our relationship. They do not care that my son just died, and they are treating me like straight shit. She's a homewrecker. She's a this, she's a that. I'm like, I am not a homewrecker. I've been with this man for 2 years. His family and what he had going on with his ex has nothing to do with me. Just because you have a child with someone does not mean you have to stay with that
Right.
person because they wanted him to be with her because they had a child together. They didn't like her either. They just didn't want him with me. If I have to pick, I'd rather pick her. That's pretty much how I saw it. So they did everything to come between our relationship. Everything. I was not allowed to mourn my child. They convinced him for a month to leave. He moved out, left me in a hotel. They told him, put her in a homeless shelter. Don't help her pay the rent. He helped me pay the rent, but he thought about it. It was just really bad. And of course, we were fighting, like arguing every day because, like, I can't deal with your family. I just lost my fucking
Right.
son. Get your family off my back. They are harassing my children. They are harassing me. And I'm used to fighting. And I don't want to fight anymore. I'm tired. So the day my son's death certificate came in the mail, that was the day that I actually really just, but that made it real. I had him cremated, had his urn sent to me, everything, but it made it real when I got his death certificate. And I just broke down and I said, you know what? I'm either going to allow all this to break me or I'm going to start building my life. My son was a beautiful child. He did not want this for me. He did not want this for his siblings. He did not want me to break down. He did not want me to not have anyone. He wanted me. I was strong for my children, and he wants me to keep that strength. So it took a while, but I started building and building and building and building. I went to therapy, not for me. I did all of that talk therapy stuff. I tried to express my feelings to people who just sat there and wrote everything down and just pumped me full of antidepressants and anti-anxiety medication. It wasn't until I met Dr. Robin. She is a therapist. but she also practices holistic healing, who taught me about journaling, meditation, mindfulness, reframing. That's when I started to heal. And I still have problems because it was still early on. I got with her because I tried to kill myself. I tried to shoot myself because I couldn't take it anymore. I'm like, I am done. I'm done. So my current husband was like, no, you have too much to live for. I ended up going back to school. I dropped out of college when my son passed, of course. I couldn't deal with anything. But I went back to college. I earned my bachelor's degree. Then I earned my master's degree. Then I went back to college again and earned another bachelor's and another master's degree. So I'm on paper. I'm doing that. I have these beautiful state jobs. I jumped in the human services field because I wanted to be a CPS worker. Because when I went to CPS and reported my mom, they told me that I can't help you. There's nothing I can do. I went to work in the homeless shelter for youth because there was no homeless shelters for youth where I live. So I was out literally on the streets. I wanted to support everybody. I wanted to be a supporter of everybody who was in my shoes,
Right.
who didn't get help. So, but there's so many, the bureaucratic lines behind all of that makes it impossible for you to help, even if you are a worker. So it's like I can't help anybody. That made me even more depressed because I did this so that I wouldn't have to. I can help people who are like me, but I can't even help them because you guys have so many rules. Bureaucracy is horrible. It's horrible. Boundaries, this, that. You can help, but you can't help. You have to get permission from your supervisor. The supervisor doesn't give permission for anything. So I'm like, okay, I'm done. So I tried to kill myself. I wanted to kill myself. I didn't put the gun in my head. I got the gun and I'm like, I'm going to do this. And my husband was like, no, just please give me the gun. And I let him talk to me because I wanted to, but I knew I shouldn't have. So I started speaking with Dr. Robin after that. And she helped me. She encouraged me to write a letter to my mom, throw it away. Write down everything that I went through in my life that I can remember. And then acknowledge that I survived every single moment of those. I was raped by 5 guys when I was 14. Guess what? I went to school the next day. That is a symbol of my strength. I didn't look at it that way. I was shamed. I'm like, I'm a whore. I'm a whore. I'm a whore. I'm a whore. I am not a whore. I was raped and I was a child and these were grown men. I was strong enough even then to fight through the trauma and still went to school every single day until my ex-husband wouldn't allow me. Until he would show up at my school. So I couldn't go to school, So, I got jumped by 50 people. I am not exaggerating that number. Men, women, jumped. Came out with barely a scratch. And I mean barely a scratch. I have been sodomized. I have been tortured. And I still have the strength to be a good mother. These are the things that Dr. Robin taught me, which is why I got into the field of wanting to be a coach. And I wrote a book. It's called A Place to Belong by Perry Jasper. It's on Amazon right now, but also on my website. I don't know if I have it on my website. I think I do, but I wrote a book about everything I've been through. And I had to use a pseudonym, and I had to, because I want to protect my grandmother and people, because all these people that abused my mom, they never abused me. Those were my saviors. They saved me from abuse. So I'm kind of conflicted with those feelings. Because it's like my grandmother didn't do that to me, so I love her, and I'm named after her. So I don't want to use, that's why I go by PJ, because I don't want to put her name out there. So I wrote a book. I have forgiven my mom, but she is a full-blown alcoholic and she curses me. She still verbally abuses me every chance she gets. So I don't talk to her as much as I should with a mother and a daughter relationship. But I took my life back. And last year I said, I'm done. I've worked for the federal government, state government, nonprofits, shelters, substance abuse clinics, mental health facilities, and nothing is helping. So I decided last year I'm going to pack my family up, April of last year, and we moved to Costa Rica, where we have been living ever since. And that's what I started my healing journey. I started my podcast, Insights of a Survivor, where I created a space for people to do what you're allowing us to do, to talk about the trauma, with breaking the silence. It's kind of similar. How did you process what, so because that is my big thing is I was silenced for years. I was told, and my family is big on church. So what goes in the house stays in the house. Pray about it. I'm like, yeah, I'm not religious. I'm sorry. That's not for me. That's not my jam. If you believe what you want. Now, I'm not against religion. Again, when I said I am pro-choice, I would support anybody's decision to worship how they feel. That's not my jam. I took a really big holistic approach. I mean, you can't see behind me right now. That's my chakra blanket tapestry. I have it as a thing that goes over my door, but I have another one behind me. I'm with getting my chakras aligned. I'm with mind, body, and spirit. I'm full holistic because I believe the religious they only want to feed your spiritual. They only want to feed the spirit. Therapists they only want to feed the mind. Doctors they only want to feed the body. But holistic practices they feed
Right.
it all. Self care, self love, nurturing, all of that. And I just dove into that. So I also just started my life coaching business. It's was trauma informed, and I also coach grieving parents to give them more of a holistic way because again, therapy works for some. It doesn't work
Right.
for me because I need my mind, body, and spirit to be healed. I need to know that what happened to me does not define who I am. I need to be aware that it takes a very strong person to go through some of the things that I've gone through and still want to help. There are a lot of people who were out there on those streets with me as a teenager. We were runaways. A lot of them are addicted to drugs, locked away, or
Yeah.
dead. I did not become that statistic, and I had to learn that that's something to be proud of. Or they were horrible parents. They put their generational trauma onto their children. My kids are so spoiled. My kids are adults. They moved to Costa Rica with me because they wanted to. I have a 5-year-old granddaughter. My youngest child is 24 years old. And they came down here because of the love that they have for me to support me and my journey. And they will go to the end of the world with me. They will because I was a good mother. And I broke I'm this is the first time I've ever said this out loud. I broke that generational trauma that my family has because my grandmother was abused.
Right.
My grandfather was her abuser. He raped her at a young age and made her have, I think, 7 kids by him. My great grandmother was abused. I believe my father was abused. So I'm the one, my generation, I'm breaking that cycle because my children has never gone through anything that I've gone through. They don't have to. I will not allow it. I support their dreams. I support their goals. If you don't go to college, fine, just find something. Whatever you want to do, I'm right here with you. And I'm proud of that. And I'm no longer ashamed of my past, which is what I built my platform for. I host summits. I have 3 summits coming up, one for grieving parents, one for mental health in the Black, Indigenous, people of color community, because going through mental health, I was really overlooked as a child. I had a therapist, and all she did was diagnose me and medicate me. Stuff that I was like, knocked out sleep. No, that's horrible to do something like that. All of the flaws in mental health needs to be addressed. So I'm really big on that. And then my Rise and Thrive Summit in January, and that's my second annual Rise and Thrive Summit, is to honor my son. He died January 24th. So I want him to know, baby, I did hear you when you came to me and told me in that car to not break. I rose above it. I'm thriving, and I'm doing it with you right here. He's right here with me. I didn't feel him at first because of the trauma that I was allowing to cloud me, but I
Oh
feel
yeah.
him. I miss him still physically, but I yell at him. I argue with him. He argues
Mine
back,
too.
so I have that.
Mine are just as
So
sassy.
that's, but that's kind of where that's my story. That's how I reached where I am right now. Is my life perfect?
No.
Hell no. Am I still healing? Of course, every day. It's an everyday battle. But I know that there is going to be a day where I'm going to reach the end of that healing journey and I'm going to be healed. And that's because I just started my healing journey a couple of years ago. I thought I did when I left my ex-husband. No, it was a couple of years ago when I agreed to not kill myself, when I agreed to put that gun down and see Dr. Robert, who showed me another way to heal. That is when I fully acknowledged that I started my healing. So it was about 2 or 3 years ago is when I started my healing journey. Sorry, my allergies are acting up, so you'll see me. But it wasn't easy, and it took a year before I even started to see any progress. But I was constant with it every day, every day, every day. And you have to be constant. People will think it's a one. It's not going to fit. It's not
No.
fast. And I'm
Well, and
still
that's
healing.
why we're here in this human experience is to continuously grow,
Yes.
and there's always layers to peel back. And, we have all this conditioning and all this limiting beliefs. Some of them are ours, some of them are not, they're
Yes.
all there. And as
Yes.
we pull those back and we, see different perspectives, then we start expanding. But this human experience is not about being perfect. It's about coming back and realizing this is why we came. We
Yes.
came here to learn these
Mhm.
lessons and to serve others so that they don't have to go through
Yes.
all the shit that we did, or we can at least support them while they are.
Yes, exactly. That is what, and that's when I learned my purpose. That's when things started to become very. It's like I said, it's not easy, but it's more in fulfilling and enjoying. I thought that my purpose was to jump into the human service field, become a caseworker, and save it, but I was miserable. I have a lot to do. Like I have a magazine that's called Resilient AF. We know what the AF stands for, where I have people come in and I do everything myself, all of the graphics, everything I do myself because we're not going to be millionaires doing this. We're doing this because we want to do this. And I spend hours behind this laptop. I was on here right before you came and I still cook and I have to take care of my kids. Well, I help with the grandbaby and it's exhausting, but I'm still happy. Every night I go to bed happy with what I'm doing. That's how I know I found my purpose. And sometimes people need help trying to find their purpose. And it looks like you found your purpose because you're like so chill. Your name is almost like my daughter's. Hers is Ajanique though. Yes. And it was like I was listening to what you were listening to before we got on, before you pulled me onto stage. And lost connection.
Oh,
What's going on? Can you hear me? It says lost. I don't know if you can see me, but I can. Okay. So I was listening to what you were saying before, and I'm like, okay. And I was kind of feeling that energy, and it was giving me the, okay, I can do this. I can do this. Because before I got on, I'm like, oh, I'm so sleepy. I just finished this, but the universe has a way of giving you the energy you need to be where you need to be and be present in that moment. And that's another thing I've learned. That's why I love the holistic approach. That's why I love what I do. That's why I am not ever, ever ashamed of anything that I've gone through. I have friends right now who I work with. Well, not necessarily work with, I talk to, who are just now starting their healing journeys all those years ago. And it makes me so happy that I
right.
found this.
Oh, we lost her. Give her a minute and see if she pops back in. I guess not. She must have lost connection totally. Oh, here she is.
Sorry, I had to reset.
I was
So
like, I'll just wait a minute and see
I
if you
just,
come back.
that's one thing. I love Costa Rica, but it rains I live in central Costa Rica, like right in the rainforest area. It rains a lot, so my connection is very spotty at best.
Oh yeah.
So, but yeah, that's what I was saying is like my purpose and to help people. That's really what makes me happy. And I also had to learn self-care. Will I help you? Of course I will. Will I allow you to invade my personal space? No. It took a long
Right.
time for me not to feel. I used to feel so bad about that. I used to get up at 2, 3, 4 in the morning. You could call me. I'm up. I'm there. You need money. You need a place to live. I have had to move out of multiple homes because I let people come and destroy my house. Now I have boundaries.
Right.
Doesn't mean I don't love you. No, I love you. I love you all. But I had to learn to love myself too. I had to
Yes.
learn to love myself, which was that was the hardest part of this journey. I was programmed for years to hate myself and to love everyone else,
Yep.
to give little of myself and to give everything to everyone else. No, it's not even a 50-50. I have to give more. I have to pour more into myself than I will into someone else because I won't be here to help you. Do you want my brain
Right.
to function correctly? Yes. You want me to be able to function at 100%. And to do that, I need to to love myself. Like those are so many parts of my journey that I'm learning now. I'm learning somatic therapy right now. I am NLP certified, neuro linguistics programming. I'm trauma informed. I'm trauma informed because of the work I've done. I have so many certifications in trauma informed care, mental health first aid, and all of these practices that they never even allow you to use in the field that I'm excited to be able to use this somewhere. I'm like, I can
Right.
use it with you. Like, if you need me to help you with something, I have the tools to help. Again, I'm not somatic yet. I'm going to do that in the next EDMR. That is another
Oh
modality that I
yeah.
want to learn. So I'm like I said, I'm a Gemini. I love to learn. I am a nerd by trade. If I can go back to school today, I will. When I am able to go back to school, I'm going to back. My goal is to get like at least 3 PhDs. So that's where I am. But yeah, and to help, I'm in Costa Rica. I see so many areas where I can help here. Start a rec center down the street. Teach English to those who don't speak English. The schools out here are not guaranteed. Like my granddaughter, she goes to the local schools. I want her to have the local experience, so she goes to the local schools here. They don't go to school full 7 days. They're scheduled for 7 days, but hey, we don't have any water, so we're out of school today. We're
Oh,
just
wow.
going to be out of school today. Like I'm trying to remember a time she's gone to school a full 5 days. Like today, she was only supposed to go to school for 2 hours. My son's like, I'm not sending her to school for 2 hours. Yesterday, they'll send a WhatsApp in the group. There's no school tomorrow. We're only school for 2 hours tomorrow, so she'll go back to school tomorrow for a full day.
Wow.
Yeah. So I'm here for those days. Okay, there's no school today. Well, then you guys can come here to this rec center. So that's my goal. I want to start nonprofits.
Right.
Um, I do have nonprofits that I'm working on starting. That's going to be virtual, but it's going to be available for U.S. citizens as well, for trauma survivors who need help with free resources that they are not able to afford, for housing. If I can help financially, depending on what type of donations I can get, I want to have a fund set up for individuals who just left domestic violence situations, who needs some type of assistance. If I can get you to a hotel for 5 days, or until you can get to the battered women and children's shelter. I want to start more, but there are not enough battered women and children's shelters. There are not any battered men shelters, because men are abused too. you know
Yes,
so I want the,
absolutely.
it's this that's kind of what I kind of I just kind of jumped down a rabbit hole of healing. And it's like I'm seeing rainbows and cotton candy down this hole I'm jumping down, because everything I do, I even just recently, last week, I started, because I have my LLC, and I branch off of that
Oh, yeah.
LLC because my one of my degrees is in business. I have my master's in business, so I know a lot about business. And I want to be able to go into programs, nonprofits, all of these state agencies, and teach them how to take care of their staff. Yes, you need trauma informed care, which
Right.
is also going to be a part of the training, but I'm going to also teach supervisors how to recognize staff burnout and how to help the staff not overwhelm, and teach staff themselves recognize the burnout within yourself. You can sit at your desk and do a couple of stretching movements to kind of get your body back aligned,
Mhm.
a 3 minute breathing technique that kind of can recenter you when you're over,
Right.
or also to accept when you can't help. Because my thing was, I couldn't deal with not being able to help someone. There are so many times I had to remove a child from a home that I felt did not needed to be removed from. That you did not need to leave this mother. She smokes weed.
Right.
That I'm no lie. A child. The mom tested dirty for weed. Weed is not legal in that state because it was in the last 10 years. So weed is legal in most states now. But that one state, weed was not legal. So they made me remove the child. The child didn't test positive for weed. The mom did. The mom had a clean home,
Right.
house full of food, and income. She was able to provide. The child was at school. Good child. We'll talk to the teachers. Good child. Good grades. You made me remove this child because I would never have removed the child. One of my master's degrees is in cannabis. One of my bachelor's degrees is in cannabis. I know the benefits of cannabis. So I would never have removed the child.
Right.
Maybe she's going through mental health stuff and she doesn't want to take the medication that the therapist is trying to give her. You know,
Exactly.
so I she took gummies. So there was not even
Oh, yeah.
so well if you're high around your child,
Not even exposing the child at all.
no, but I had to remove that child. So I wanted to be able to help with caseworkers who are in those type of situations where I don't agree with what's going on. That takes a toll on you. So my training also incorporates
Oh,
that,
yeah.
how to deal with things you can't control, because that's self-care. I beat myself up. That actually made me quit that job. That was my last case. I quit that job after that. I really did. I'm like, I'm done. Because there was another woman who daughter found her on the ground overdosing on meth, and they let her keep her daughter. So it's like, oh no, no, if you're gonna take one shot for drugs, then you need to take them all. There's no in betweens.
Yeah.
So I just, I want to be able to do the most that I can with everything, because I know a lot. I have a lot of knowledge, and I want to use that knowledge to help this community. I worked for an attorney. I was a paralegal for a while. I want to use what I learned about the law for parents who don't realize that you don't have to allow this man to beat you and think he's going to take your kids. He can't do that. At best, you're going to get primary custody, and you're going to have to give visitations, and that's fine. If you need proof to keep yourself safe, I can help with restraining orders. I can help with so much that I want, and I want to do that. So that's what those nonprofits that I am trying to build are going. That's kind of my 2 or 3 year goal. I'm trying to get everything together now, build momentum, share my story on episodes like yours, and link up with people like you and Miss Anna. Thank you for that, and see how we can grow as a community. Because I might not know, you might be able to help me, or she might be able to help you with someone else. Because that's how I'm trying to get into these programs. I've been asking people, do you know of any nonprofits who needs trainers that help them? Because I have a whole program already set up to help case managers. Most case managers, I'm not going to say a few case managers are people who have overcome trauma and they want to help. They re-trigger themselves to help others. So I want to help them. I couldn't do it. I don't, and the turnover is so high. So I want to help reduce staff burnout, because you can't help, or because you have 80 people on your caseload and you go home at 2:00 in the morning every night. That was my life. I used to come home in the middle of the night working for CPS, Child Protective Services, Adult Protective Services, Behavioral Health Services, because I was out running around. When you go home, you need to take that case manager off, put your home, and you need to learn how to reset. So that's what my training is about. So when I say I want to help the community, I mean everybody, because if we have better caseworkers, that energy can rub off on the clients. So that's where I am.
Well, yeah, and changing the systems that are broken. I talk a lot about that. My human design is a 5-1, which is a disruptor, and that the systems failed my family. They failed my boys, and they're not effective. They're not useful. They don't treat people holistically. They don't treat people individually at all. And those, they're just not helpful. And those systems need to crumble and be rebuilt properly.
They do. And working in the system, it's not the case. Not the people that you see. I guarantee you, if you had to work with a caseworker, they had to go to their supervisor, and then they were told, nope, you can't help them. Nope.
No.
Yeah,
and two daughters. This person is. 2 of my daughters just got their LSW. They both just tested in the last few weeks.
Yay!
And they do it for the same reasons, because they grew up in the trauma and they want to help others. And they
need any tips, tell them to call me, because this is not easy work. They're they just hang in there, young ladies. Just hang in there.
My older daughter's been almost 15 years in this industry.
Oh, she knows. Okay.
Well, and they just opened their own company, her and her partner, as a provider for DCS. So they're not in the DCS; they do the provided services, and so they just opened their company.
Yay!
They come at it with a trauma-informed and grief background.
Yes.
Because nobody teaches grief or how to process grief.
No.
And so these poor children, all the families, they're going through all this grief and nobody addresses it. So
yes,
that's exciting that is beginning. So
it is. That is beautiful. See, that's what I love. It's the ones who's gone through the worst that wants to help the most. And that's beautiful. I love it. I wish them, like I said, if they need any pointers, they can call me and I'll tell them everything I know, because it's not, I worked actually in the facility. I might be able to give them some pointers like, hey, make sure that this is this and that is that, because if they come, they'll see this, and she probably already knows it anyway, because but they are some sticklers, man. Like they, it's like you said,
It,
it's broken. And as from someone who's seen it from the inside out, I see the cracks. It's not even cracks. It's big,
yeah,
giant holes. It's
yeah,
sinkholes in the system, and they just sit there and they just let it drop. And it takes a tragedy before they finally decide maybe we need to change this. Someone's
right.
child dying. They had to change a rule about us entering the home because a guy killed his girlfriend's daughter accidentally by pouring noodles on her. He drove her around for hours, and then he put her in a suitcase when she died of because her skin was coming off. He put her in a suitcase, zipped her up, and hid her under the house because his girlfriend, which was the mom, was in jail, and they were afraid to tell CPS that the baby, and they were just like, okay, they left, and instead of them doing a thorough search, they just let that baby sit in that suitcase, and she was in that suitcase dead.
Wow.
And it's stuff like things like that have to happen before, and she wasn't even 5. Things like that has to happen before they start trying to make
Right.
small changes in the system. So it's programs like ours. It's things like what your daughter and her partner are doing that's going to put a light. We need to shine a light on the system. And like you say, we need to get them. You're going to be accountable for the flaws in your system. And it's because they're not families, they're
Yeah.
numbers, they're cases. Let's get there. They don't care about family reunification. They don't care about holistic healing. They care about closing that case so that the governor or whoever is running the program can see this state organization, this one, you guys have the most closed cases, so we're going to give you the most praise. We're going to give you the most funding. We're going to give you the most money, which they don't put back into the
Right.
system. They
Yeah.
don't,
And luckily, we're
so
seeing new changes and new programs coming into the system, in at least in their state, that with like family preservation, and they're throwing lots of funding at
yes,
family preservation and lots of resources, and
yes,
it's been
yes.
amazing.
Yes. And that's another thing that they need to look at family preservation. Like if I am a bad mother, instead of just taking my child, find out why. Maybe I
Teach
wasn't
me
ever taught
how.
to be a mom. Maybe I was abused. Exactly. They'll tell you to go to therapy, but you know how I feel about therapy. Go see this therapist. And then the therapist is telling the state, no, she's not fit to be a
Well,
mother,
and a
take her
therapist
kids.
isn't going to teach you
No,
parenting skills.
no, they're not. The parenting programs that they have does not
Right.
teach parenting skills. They don't. They really don't. They have these checks that you have to mark off in your book, and if they don't do those, and then there are parents. If I'm abusing my child, why? Is that all I know? Okay, there. I believe in spanking, but beating to an excess is ridiculous. But yes, I believe in spanking your child. Teach me
Right.
the proper way to discipline my child instead of telling me you're going to teach my child
Right.
for disciplining them. If you have an open CPS case, they're gonna get in line because they have a worker coming to their
Right.
house unannounced anyway. Instead of doing that, using that as a control tactic, use that. I don't want to say power, but that's basically what they feel like you have over them to help them. Like, here, I'm not here to control your life. I'm here to help you. What do
Right.
you need to know? Why or what trauma? Because most of them have gone through. Have you been through trauma? How can we help you through this trauma? Did you know that CPS workers go to trauma informed training, but yet we don't use any of those practices on
Wow.
our clients? There, because I'm not one of them anymore. Never, never. Or my one of my last cases before I left was a child who was the father was um, exposing himself in front of her. She was 6. They were forcing her to still see this man. Child Protective Services. He was had rights to his. He could see her weekly, non-supervised. Why? And if this man is doing this to this child, then he needs to have a psychiatric assessment on him to see if he's even fit to be around
Right.
children. He was not arrested. He was not arrested. No charges were brought on this man. What trauma, kind of trauma are you putting on this child, and what example are you setting for her to make her feel like she's safe or worth anything? That's going to follow her in her life. Like I said, I can go on.
Oh
I have
yeah.
so many. So it's horrible. It's horrible. And that's just CPS. That's not the homeless shelters that I've worked in. That's not the substance abuse shelters that I've worked in. That's not, that's just CPS, not adult protective services. It's ridiculous. And if you don't qualify for services,
Oh yeah.
they will kick you out. and take your child
Yep.
your child or children. So that's kind of where I am. That's why I do what I do. I've seen too much ugly in this world, and there's beauty all over the place. We just don't want to.
Yeah.
We don't want to look at it. So I'm trying to show you guys. There's beauty. Hi, beauty. See this is what we're doing. That we're beautiful. Look at us because we're wanting to help show what the right
Yeah.
ways are.
Well, and like you said, it may one thing. It's all individualized. What works for me may
Yes.
not work for you. What works for you doesn't work for them.
Exactly.
And having options and
Exactly.
having choice
Yes.
to try it and see, and if this doesn't work, okay, then we have another resource. Let's go here,
Right.
and that's
Right.
the whole thing. But going, oh, that's
Sorry, that was
like, whoa,
yeah.
what was that?
There's motorcycles all pure vida, you guys. Welcome to Costa Rica. That's motorcycles are everywhere here.
But going, as an energy worker, being able to work with people and, get them regulated and
Yes.
hold that mirror up and say, here, look in the mirror
Yes.
and love yourself enough to connect back to your soul and remember why you're here.
Yes. Yes. That's why I actually I'm no longer religious, but I do believe, because like I said, ever since I've gotten my chakras, and I still have to every day get those suckers spinning, recharge it every day, sit there, okay, get that doubt out, put that love in, put that, get that stroke, all I still have to do that. My goal is to get all 12 chakras aligned, because I know that there's some above the crown. But once I do that, like I said, I'm still new. But that has helped me more than anything, because the people don't understand that is your whole. It goes through your whole body.
That's your energy channel,
and it is real, and you feel it. Yes, and you put that. If you project that, if you allow it to put that shield of protection around you for anything bad to stay out and anything good to be able to be allowed in, then you're attracting that to you, and that's how you also make changes, because I think it's your sacral chakra that's confidence, and you start believing in yourself, and then you start believing in change, and you start making a change, and it's like one person at a time. And like you said, it's individual. If Reiki, I'm not good with that word. Reiki, if that's not good for you, maybe crystal energy, maybe something, all of that is going to work. Ground yourself. That's
and we
that's
all
the whole
just
point.
have to, once we're aware of it, we also have to be aware of taking that time to be still and regulate.
Yes. Yes.
Because we get so busy and we get so caught up in life that we don't stop and be still. And we have to, even if it's only moments, just that moment to breathe.
Yes.
Take one full breath and just be. And that alone can regulate your nervous system enough to go on. And
yes. And I know this is kind of invasive, but if you're sitting on the toilet, use that time. I have a 3-minute. You can sit on the toilet. Take an extra 2 minutes on that toilet and just take a couple of breaths. I mean, depending on, if it's your stuff, you smell your own stuff, but get that breath in. But seriously, like, if you have a minute, if you can sit down, if you can take 5 minutes to scream at somebody in anger, you can take 5 minutes to realign your energy and take a couple of breaths. So I do. I'm. These are things that I've learned, and I am still learning. Like in my magazine, that's one of the things I have. I'll offer a mindfulness, where they can, and then in there I have a 3-minute, just a 3-minute breathing technique that you can just use. If you please, just 3 minutes, in, out, breathe in for 4 seconds, breathe out for 5. Just a couple of moments of your time, like you said, it does, and that's why when even therapists will tell you, breathe and count to 10. When you feel all of those negative emotions, start taking deep breaths and breathe, count to 10. People don't understand that that's holistic healing in itself, and that's even in professional therapists, professional psychiatrists, and psychologists will tell you to do that. Count to 10 and breathe. The count to 10 and breathe. That's a reset. 10 seconds, count to 10 and breathe. So
Absolutely.
that's what I love. I love about this. And I feel like they stole that, by the way. They try to say that holistic healing is not real healing, but they steal holistic modalities and put it into their
Well,
therapy sessions and try to claim it
because
for
just
their own.
because they're holistic and they're spiritual doesn't mean they're not backed by science. I mean, if you look at Joe Dispenza's work,
Yes.
he
Yes.
talks, teaches all the science that I don't even understand, but it's there. It
Right.
is effective and it works.
Yes.
It's
Yes.
amazing.
Yes. And it saved it literally saved
Absolutely.
my life.
Mine too.
Literally. Now, like I said, do I still get mad? Because I call myself a hothead sometimes, but do I still have to work on that? I do. I swear I do. But like I have a meditation script that when I need some serious deep, it's like 20, 30 minutes. I'll go deep into a meditative, I'll sit there and I'll ground myself and I'll allow the negative energy to
Right.
go into the earth and let the earth recycle that into light, and I'll let it put what it needs to put back into me. And I have my breathing. I talk to the universe. I talk to my ancestors. I do what I have to, and I protect myself because sometimes you need that. But I mean, like I said, like you said, the beautiful thing is you can do that in seconds.
And nobody even, I mean, you can do that anywhere.
Okay,
and nobody even needs to know what's happening.
Yes, just breathe. Oh my God, this person is screaming over here, and it's okay. You know what? I can't do anything about that. Let me just go over here. You know, it takes a second to reset your brain, and that's what I love about this, and that's what I want to teach a lot of these bureaucratic facilities. It doesn't take. I'm not trying to reset. If you still want to have all your rules, have all your rules. But to be able to deal with the pressure of bureaucracy, let's learn some of these mindfulness techniques that can help you deal with it, so that you can be aware and help
Well, and it
these
makes
people, and not because I mean
it makes
burnout
them
is
more
real.
effective at their job.
It does. It does, because you're not walking in there pissed off with an attitude like what? Okay, well, oh, there's my camera. Like what?
Right.
What? You know, because there's times you're going from one place to another and you don't get a break. I never got a break.
Taking
I
on
had to
all
eat my
that
food in my
energy
car
of
as I'm going
everybody.
to one. All of their energy, yes, I'm taking on your energy plus my energy. Then my kids are upset because I'm gone until 2 a.m, so they're mad, and that's their energy. And I'm just taking all this into my job, and
Right.
that's not healthy.
Absolutely.
And
Well, thank you.
I could have been driving and
Yeah.
breathing. Oh,
Well,
sorry,
I do
go
it
ahead.
at stoplights. You know, stoplights are a
Yes.
great liminal space that you can just pause, and even if you're not doing a meditation, just pause, look at the sky, look at the world around you,
Yes.
because we're so busy and we're so driven, and we live 90% of our lives unconscious.
Yes.
And we just got to open our eyes and see what's around us.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Thank you so much for coming. It was wonderful. And I know we're going to do lots more together because.
Yes, we are. Yes, we are.
It is.
This is beautiful.
I'm excited about your summits. I still have to go fill out the applications for those. But that's amazing.
Take your time.
And we'll have all your links in I didn't get the links in yet, but I will put them in after. And you can
okay, no worries. No worries.
Whatever.
I do that all the time.
Yeah. It's just been a crazy.
And I'll go Perfect. And I'll drop them in the comments if so that just send me the link to the episode so I can click on the link, because I suck at going on YouTube. I'm going to tell you that now. So send me the link to the episode and on your LinkedIn, all of it, and I'll go in each of them and I'll drop my website, my LinkedIn, and everything in the comments. And if anyone wants
Perfect.
to reach out,
awesome.
Please
Thank
do.
you so much. You have a wonderful rest of your day.
Thank you so much. You do. Yeah. I'm going to go eat my breakfast.
I'm going to do that, and then I have to go pick up a girlfriend from work and take her home and pick up her daughter and take her back to work and pick up another guy. And
oh, wow.
Put my car in for an oil change.
You have a full day. Oh, well, you have fun with all of that.
It's a busy day.
Well, thank you. It is. Well, you don't forget the self-love, self-care.
I put on a dress this morning.
Oh, and you look nice.
I
I was going
like
to say,
it.
I like
It's,
the dress.
I don't get to wear it very often. It doesn't have pockets, so it drives me crazy if I wear it
Mm.
when I'm out delivering food and running Uber and doing grocery shopping. I need pockets. But I, but
Yes,
otherwise,
ma'am.
so today I was like, you know what? I just have a lot of running to do, so I don't have to worry about the pockets today. I'm just gonna wear it.
Gotcha. Well, thank you
Thank
so much
you.
for having me. I had a blast with you so much, and I
Yes,
can't wait to work with you. You and Anna. I mean, even in the group chat, I can
she's
see you guys. Your
awesome.
energies are wonderful, and I can't wait to work with you
We've
guys.
known each other and been in circles together, but we've just started connecting more intimately in the last maybe couple months, and she is amazing.
Oh, I'm
Yeah, we
excited.
had such a blast earlier. I can't wait. That podcast will air next month, so I'm excited.
Yay! Awesome. Send
Yes,
me the link. I'll watch that
definitely.
too.
All right. Love you. Take care.
Love you. Thank
And we will see
you.
you. I have another podcast next week and the week after. And anyone who would like to fill out the application to be a guest, that link is on my Facebook, it's on my YouTube, it's everywhere. Or send me a message. And you have yours too. So,
Yes, and it's on my website. It's on
yeah,
everything.
it's
It's on
everywhere.
everything. Or you can send me a message and I'll send
Yep.
it
And
directly.
I'll be on yours soon, and we will have those dates when we get it all because we don't have calendar mistakes.
Yeah.
All right,
No, well,
take
I'm working
care.
on it. I'm working on it.
Right, even with all
You
the
too.
things, we still double
Bye.
work.